us.
Okay, well, we're live now. So this is Howard Owens, publisher of the Batavian. We're doing another live interview. I'm excited about this one because we have Joey Martinez, the new manager of the new Muckdogs in the Perfect Game Collegiate League. Those of you who've been following know that Major League Baseball changed its structure of how it's treating minor league teams, and as part of that, the Batavia Muckdogs, which had existed here in one form or another since 1939, lost its kind of franchise agreement, if you will. That's not the exact right term, but that was we lost our affiliation with Miami Marlins and with Major League Baseball. And the Nichols family stepped in and are creating a new team under their ownership that is also going to be the Batavia Muckdogs. So we're keeping that tradition alive. And Joey is the first manager of this new era. So Joey, welcome to our live stream, and I appreciate your time. And welcome to Batavia.
Well, man, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. So, first of all, just give us a little of your baseball background. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. I grew up in New York, so going back up there is always like a homecoming to me. I grew up in Brooklyn, played baseball my entire life. That's kind of, I guess, for the most part, what kept me out of trouble. Baseball was always the motivating factor for me to do well in school and keep playing baseball, of course. So I played high school baseball in New York. I played college baseball in New York. And then I signed as a free agent with the Tiger organization. Well, prior to that, I played AA ball in Puerto Rico. Then I signed with the Detroit Tiger organization, which is a lifelong dream. And, got my cup of tea, so to speak, in the professional baseball. And I wouldn't change it for the world. It taught me a lot about the game and the dedication and the perseverance you have to have. And it's even harder. It's hard to get there, but it's harder to maintain. But my baseball experience has been beyond belief for me. I wouldn't change it for the world.
So, as I understand, you have some prior experience in this league. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was with the Utica Blue Sox in 2018. Great organization. We had a great season that year. Working with some good people there, and we put a lot of good players that year into the All-Star game. We had, I think, 3 or 4 in the top 10 in hitting. So I think we did a good job recruiting that year. The league itself, to me, stood out as one of the better leagues in the country. That's what I gathered from that season, and it was definitely a big learning experience. And I enjoyed it. I'm so ecstatic to go back to that league. I did get a contract extension to go back to Utica, but there were some things that just didn't add up, and I moved on. And so for me to come back there it's super exciting, and to work with the Nichols family, which I'm super grateful for Robbie and his wife to give me this opportunity. So going back to New York, it's just that league in general is something I want to be a part of.
You've mentioned that you're playing baseball right now. So where are you currently residing, and what are you doing in baseball right now?
Oh, I live in Tampa, Florida. So I'll be driving up here at the end of May up to New York. I coach currently. I've coached. I just got the high school job at St. Pete High School. Never thought about doing high school. It kind of I was approached about it. Turned in my resume, and then a week later I got the job. And so I coached college ball first, right? So I was always I wanted to get back into affiliated ball for the most part. And that's a hard gig to get into. And then college came along, and I've been doing that for the last 3 seasons, and that was amazing. And just so every summer I look forward to going to coach these young men and play and coach at the college level, because I think it's super exciting. The fans and all that stuff get involved. And this off season, I got approached about a high school job, and I really never thought about doing it. And then what kind of impacted me to do that was the impact itself that you can have on these young men that are, of course, with a guy like myself and my coaching staff, that we have a plethora of college connections to help some of these kids further their education and further their playing career. something that we can help them with and impact that for them, it's a big deal for us. So that was kind of what lured me to do that, was to be able to use my college connections and get some of these schools, these kids, another chance to play baseball for 4 more years or beyond if they're lucky. So that's how I did that. So we have a game today. It's Sanpete High School Green Devils. We play against Wesley Chapel today. I do travel ball here with the Hit Factory, a big organization. We have about 17 teams under that organization. And we put out a lot of college players too in that organization. And it's just baseball it's kind of a lifestyle for me. It's every day. I'm involved in like 3 different types of programs all the time.
That's great. It's great to hear you're so active. You obviously love the game.
I love it. It's part of my life.
It's great. So tell us a little bit more about the Collegiate Baseball League. You've got some the Perfect Game League. You've got some experience in this. What level of play can fans expect? What can they expect to see on the field?
The Perfect Collegiate game itself, it's if I'm not mistaken, is ranked in the top 10 in the country. So there's about 125 sanctioned leagues or so, give or take. I'm not accurate, but don't quote me on that. But there's about, say, around 125 sanctioned leagues. And to be in the top 10 is a big deal because you got a ton of college players playing all over the country. So when you're in the top 10, it kind of makes it super competitive. You get a lot of higher level talent, D1 guys, some high end D2 guys. And you know what? I don't think the division really matters because we've had talented guys from D3 schools, junior college guys, just guys that can play baseball. You know what I mean? What I think the fans should expect is a high level of talent for sure. Our roster alone right now has some players that are like super prospects, and I've talked to some of the coaches, and the level of play should be, for the most part, you're going to see clean baseball. You're going to see some high level hitters, some high level defenders. You're going to see some guys with some athleticism, some speed. You're going to get guys that can pick it, guys that can sling the rock on the mound. You're going to get guys that can, definitely swing it. And I think the play at this league, at this league in general, there's a lot of teams that get a lot of D1 guys. So it's going to be a high level. You're going to see some prospects. You're going to see guys that are probably going to get drafted this year, next year, stuff like that. So you're going to see some guys that you probably can see on TV in a few years. So that's exciting to see, that you get to see them first before they become big and famous. So that's, it's always fun to coach those guys.
I'm kind of under the impression leagues like this and this league, is that the players here are they're both looking for experience, but they're also trying to get on the map with scouts and that sort of thing. So can we expect to see major league scouts in the stands at games?
Yeah, exposure is a big deal with leagues like this, especially with the landscape of baseball the way it is now. With the realignment of minor league baseball, which is why Batavia lost their team there, and along with 40-something other teams in the country. So I think the landscape itself, it creates more exposure at the independent level and at the collegiate level, especially the high-end leagues like this, for kids that are draft eligible, on somebody's radar, one of the team's radars for the following draft. So their exposure, it's real crucial. So I expect to see scouts there. We usually do see them throughout the course of the season. Sometimes you don't know they're there, and sometimes they come into your office and they talk to you, and you figure out, all right, which are your guys, and you give them 5 or 6 names, and they look at those guys. And a lot of these guys at the level that they're playing at anyway, they already have been noticed somewhere. Now, putting up good numbers in a league like this helps your cause, and gets you more exposure. And for the younger guys that don't have anybody, that are not on anybody's radar, that helps those guys as well. Because you can be the guy that, let's say everybody's coming to see this X player over here, player X, and player B over here shines all of a sudden. He becomes on somebody, he comes on somebody's radar. I go, what's his name? So that's good for the league. It's good for the players. The exposure is a big part playing in this league. And yes, we do expect to see some scouts out this year, especially with the landscape of baseball. I think it opens up the doors for a lot more college players getting looked at.
So, there's always a chance we'll have that one or two kids who, kind of have the breakthrough season and and rise up to the into the cream of the crop.
Yeah, I believe we have a few players that can do that.
That's great. I also hear, so there's a rumor going around. I talked to Robbie before about the importance of maybe having some players from the region or even right here in Genesee County on the team. Yeah. And I hear you already got some quote unquote local players that we expect to see in a uniform.
Yes, we do. That's always I think it's always a big deal for the community and the organization itself to have local flavor. Excuse me, local flavor on the team. We do have Jerry Reinhardt, who is a Batavian, born and raised there, and he played with us in 2018. He was with me at Utica, and when he found out that I was the head coach, he reached out to me and it was super interested in playing his hometown. I think because he's a junior, so this is his last year of eligibility to play summer ball. So he was super excited. We kind of worked that out. We made it happen. So we're excited for him and his family. Tyler Prospero, another guy, he's a division. Both of these guys are Division I players. Tyler goes to Niagara University, a big-time pitcher. So he was born and raised there too and knows a lot of coaches. And I just got a text message from them the other day that's saying, hey, Coach, we're going to have a lot of people in the seats, man. Everybody we know is coming to the game. So and then Colin Noeth, I think a 6'7" righty out of University of Northwest Ohio, I believe, or Northwest. Yeah, I believe that. I'm not sure, but he's a 6'7" righty, 90 to 92. I think he told me he lives like 5 minutes outside of Batavia. So he's a pretty local guy too. So we got three guys that are super competitive. I think going to be a big part of this program this summer. And they're going to get a lot of support. And I think that's good for the organization and community to see their own guys coming home and playing.
Well, that's great to hear. And definitely Prospero and Reinhardt are names that people who follow baseball here locally in their high school years know those names. They were great players. So excited it'll be exciting to see them on the field here. So one of the things I've kind of wanted to clarify for fans, because we with short season single A ball. Right. Well, actually, before we get on that question, I just remember something. I saw a ring flash up. What's that championship ring that you got there?
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
This is what I usually say. I usually say that's my engagement ring, but no, that's my. No, what it is I played in this tournament called the Roy Hobbs tournament, and it's a pretty high level tournament. We got a bunch of ex big leaguers, ex minor leaguers play. And we go down to Fort Myers and play in this very high-level tournament. I mean, we had guys like DJ Carrasco pitching for us, a 12-year big leaguer. We had some other guys that played at minor league baseball, myself, our catcher, a shortstop that played AAA at the time. A bunch of guys from Staten Island. And we just won a tournament like 2 or 3 years in a row and kind of, got awarded for it. You play your whole life for that. I had one as a coach too, which is pretty cool. And then my little son gets one about a month into his first season. And I'm like, wait a minute, I played my whole life for it. You get it in a week, but so it's pretty cool. It's just, I still play to that point. I can't, my body tells me not to do it anymore.
That's
you
great.
Love the game so much.
Well, there's a little Roy Hobbs connection to Genesee County. Robert Redford, I think, spent some time here. Some scenes from The Natural were filmed here in Genesee County. So, this question I started to ask is: we're used to short season minor league baseball in Batavia, where the coaches will tell you, we're here, it's about development. The organization will tell you it's about development. We're not here necessarily to win games. I mean, everybody loves to win. Winning the championship's a big deal. But we've seen players, moved up when there's a pennant race going on. And suddenly your chances of winning a pennant locally evaporate. And as I understand it, that we're not going to see that happen. Players are here for the full season. Your dedication. You want to see players develop and you want to see them succeed, but really it's about winning, right? You want to win a championship.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, it's a saying that we have one of my best friends and coaches with me. And he always says, if I race my grandmother, I want to beat her, right? So it's the baseball players are pretty competitive by nature. Um, Again, some kids come out here and say, and during my interview process with some of these players, uh, I'm quite honest and frank with them and say, listen, if you think you're coming up here to get work for the summer and just kind of go through the motions, this is not the place for you. Just because if we're going to spend an entire summer together, we might as well try to win, right? So we're everywhere I coach, I as coaches and players, we try to win championships. I mean, that's what it's about. Um, you know, to me, championships are the end all be all. But development at this level, development it's a part of it. So if you can give some of these kids some development stuff that they've never heard or something new, that's always a part. It helps us get better through the course of the season. But I always look at it from two different perspectives, right? The coaches look at it from a win-win perspective, right? We got to win. That's what we're based on, wins and losses. And the players are, at this level, they're there for their reps, working on their craft, getting better for the fall season when they go back to their college institutions or their universities, and just to get some more work in and keep working on their craft. And most of those kids are competitive. They want to win, right? As well. And then you have those 1 or 2 that don't want to, they just here go and work. But for me, it's all about let's be together and let's compete. Why not us, right? That's what we always say. Why not us? Let's go for it. And that's what we're going for. We're going for a championship, just like any other year, any other season, any other place we'll be. That's the only way. That's the only way I know how to compete.
And the other aspect of these players, we hear they're fan friendly. Just talk about the interaction between players and fans and what the fans can expect.
I think that's a lot of fun to me to see these kids for the first time. Some of them, get asked for their autographs from young, kids watching the game or even fans. That's an experience in itself. So I think this league also gives you that sense of a short season A, right? Because it's so many games in a short period of time. Excuse me. So it's a short period of time with a lot of games. So it feels like a short season A. The experience of the bus rides, going to, travel to another stadium to play another team, and the fan base. We run it. We have an itinerary every day it's based off of a pro kind of schedule, right? So we get to a stadium at a certain time for early work. We get our work in. We get ready for a home game. We get our BP. We got the music going. We got the game plan, the lineups. Everybody's got their responsibilities, and to see a kid, come over to the dugout and say, hey, hey Sterling or Jerry, can I get your autograph? You can see both kids light up, and it's a great thing, and it's especially when it's your home. You're at your home field and you get that relationship you get some fans like, oh, that's my favorite player and that's my favorite player. So they start creating their own following. And we've had that in the past several years, and it's fun to watch. And I think the kids get a big kick out of it. So it's a great experience. And I think they go home with that experience and saying, hey, man, that's fun. And I think that's what keeps the players coming from these colleges and institutions and these universities to this league, because of that great experience that this league provides.
And speaking of players, I know the organization's looking for homes here where players can stay during the season. Maybe just give a pitch of why host one of these ball players.
Just help out the community, help out the organization, help this young player kind of follow their dreams this summer. And of course, I mean, it's the community's team at the end of the day, right? The Nichols own it, and we want to be a part of that community for years to come. And so being a part of that, it's a special thing when you can host a player and build relationships with those guys and get to know kids from all over the country, hear their stories and hear their upbringing, and also, that could be that guy that you see on TV 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and say, hey, that guy stayed at my house. That's the thing that it's one of those things that you just never forget about. It's like an experience, I think for some of these kids it's overwhelming, but at the end of the day, I know a lot of kids that have gone through that in the past several years, and they've created big time relationships with those families. And a couple years ago, last year, one of the host families was saying, "Hey, man, I still got guys sending me Christmas cards from 12 years ago." So they create a bond, and I think that's special. So I think it's good to support the team, the community, and build relationships with kids from all over the country. And again, that's the kid you might see on the field in the major leagues 2 years from now. So that'll be a great experience. Say, "Hey, that guy slept in my bed," you know?
That'd be a great story. So we're right at 20 minutes. I know you've got a game to prepare for. Any other thoughts you want to share? Anything we didn't cover?
No, I mean, we're excited to go. Like I said, I posted on the fan page, wish the season started tomorrow. We're still got a couple of people to fill up the roster with. Still looking for some pitchers. Our position players, we feel pretty solid about. We're pretty happy about. I want the fans to know that we want to be a part of the community. Anything you guys need for us, Robbie, I'm sure, and the staff that's been amazing, will make sure we're involved with things like that. Don't be afraid to come up and say hi to us. We like to be, like you said, we want to interact with the people and the fans, and we're so excited for the season and really looking forward to it. And just make sure we come out and support these young men and support the organization and the community.
That's great. I'm just want to say I'm really excited. I look forward to meeting you. I think this is a really exciting development for baseball in Batavia. It was hard to think about losing our team through all that time, but when Robbie stepped forward and we heard about this league, I mean, I personally got excited, and I love covering baseball. I told you before I can't be out there at every game, but I look forward to being out there when I can, and shooting some video and seeing these players and getting to know them. And they're always fun to interact with, and I think the fans will enjoy it too. So, thank you for helping us kick off this new season.
No, man, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. And Muckdog Nation, let's get ready to rock and roll this summer.
It's exciting.
I appreciate you having me.
Well, thank you for your time, Joey.
Howard, thank you.
So this is Howard Owens, publisher of the Batavian. We just had a great interview with Joey Martinez, the new manager of the New Era Muckdogs, and we're all excited about that season. Hope you are too. And we'll have more. We got a live stream this afternoon with Kathy Hochul. That's not an interview. That'll be a briefing event about the state of the state, and then some other interviews coming up this week. So thank you for tuning in.